I came on a visitor visa. I met someone, I got married. That person is a US citizen. What do I do next? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shah from the Shah Law Group. We're going to talk about marriage petitions. But before I proceed, please subscribe to our channel, click on the notification button, and we will be back with those message after those messages. We always get that question. I came to the United States and now I fell in love. I got married. What happens to me? Can I get my green card here inside the United States? Well, before I answer this question, we need to analyze how the system works. When you are inside the United States, there's something called adjustment of status, which means if you entered on a valid visa, for example, a visitor visa, a student visa, H-1B visa, and then you get married to a US citizen, you can do what we call the adjustment of status. The adjustment of status, by the way, is also used for employment base. However, here we are going to talk only about the marriage petitions. What happens next? Well, the next step is you will need to file a bunch of papers. After you get married, you will need to file papers with the USCIS, Department of Homeland Security, and I will go over each of them in a few. But before I say that, you need to know how you entered the United States. If you entered on a visitor visa, the B1, B2 visa, you need to make sure that you wait 90 days before you get married. The reason for that is that there is an accepted rule that says if you get married within the first 90 days, there's a presumption of fraud and you violated the INA 214B because you had an intent to get married when you entered. It's kind of an archaic way of saying it, but that doesn't mean if you got married earlier than that, you won't get your green card. But you will have to prove there was no fraudulent intent when you entered on the visitor visa. The problem is not the marriage. The problem is the intent on the visitor visa itself. So after you proceed with your marriage, then you have to file those paperwork I mentioned, right? I didn't mention it yet, so I'm going to mention them. The first one you file is the I-130 petition. And the second one is the adjustment of status. In between, there are a bunch of other papers. For one, you will want to have a work permit, so you will file the I-765. And also, if you want to travel in between, you will need what we call an advance parole, because while your adjustment of status is pending, you cannot travel. You can only travel if the advance parole is approved, not just filed, it has to be approved. So, but there are other paperwork that will be inserted in that, including the I-864, which is the affidavit of support, and the biographic information, G325, and also you have to put a cover letter, etc., and then you file the case. All this will be filed with the USCIS, Department of Homeland Security, because you're doing an adjustment of status, you're dealing only with the Department of Homeland Security. Once you file all this paperwork and everything is fine, and of course you pay the fees included in that, you will get a receipt. The receipt now is coming around 6 weeks to 8 weeks, unfortunately. Once you get the receipt, the next step, what will happen, they will call you for what we call a biometrics, a fingerprint. This is where you're going to put your thumb and all your fingers and etc. at a center that they have to do their background check, right? And people who come to the United States, and if you travel also at the airport, there is something kind of similar, but this is done at a center. Once this is done and you have clearance, you will get what we call your work permit, the EAD. The EAD will allow you to do a lot of things. For one, you will be able to get your social security number. Now they are allowing the social security number also will come with the EAD now, with the new rule. And you will be able to work. That's very important because you want to work, right? So that's the few steps, but there are bigger steps coming. More steps coming. The more steps that we're talking about, the additional steps, is you will have to go for a marriage interview at the field office. You will get a notification to the 797. This is a notification paper that you will get. You're going to get a bunch of them. For example, you're going to get the receipt, you're going to get the fingerprint notice, and then you would get that where you will have to present in front of the officer and talk about your marriage. Usually the questioning is pretty simple, and I will put the link of the video. We did a reenactment of that. You will get an idea how it works. But I was talking before you even reach the interview level, what you need to do. All this process is not difficult, by the way, but it's really, really tricky. And if you make a mistake, process, like I said, is not difficult, but it is a little bit messy. You make a mistake, it will cost you. And at this point, it's good to have an attorney to help you. And we have helped hundreds of people. We'll be glad to handle your marriage case. And then ultimately, even if you need an attorney to go to the interview with you, one of our attorneys will probably go with you, but it's not necessary either. Now, if your marriage is found fraudulent, then things are going to get very, very complicated. And we're not going to talk about that in this video. And we will put the link for what we call the stock interviews, which are the secondary interviews. Those are tough ones. But again, like I said, the list of documents are I-130, I-485, I-131, I-765, and also G325A and I-864. I might have missed a few, but those are the main ones. Put a good cover letter, prepare your case well, and we will be glad to help you. 510-742-5887. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll bring you some good stuff. And also make sure that you prepare your paperwork and tell the truth, because that will cost you really dearly if you don't. Thank you so much for listening, and please check our other videos, and we'll be back with another video tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.